Welcome to the channel. My name is Dani Walker. Thanks for joining me today for this recap of the Miss Universe 2022 National Costume Competition. If you enjoy content like this, please consider subscribing and hitting that notifications bell. And if you'd like to support the channel, it's as easy as just sharing this episode with a friend, or you can hit the super thanks button or shop in the merch store. I greatly appreciate that. If you're competing for a pageant, then don't forget to check out that free pageant prep course that I've linked in the description. Thanks to VIP Pageantry and VIP TV, I was able to attend this year's National Costume Show for the first time ever, which is phenomenal, I must say. And I had incredible front row seats, so huge thanks to them. And if you'd like to see the exclusive content that we've been creating this week, you can do that by heading over to VIPpageantry.com and also by downloading their app. Indonesia's costume was just so pretty to me. It was so beautiful. All those metallics. I do feel like I have seen a similar costume, and I feel like I saw it in the Philippines. And if you know what I'm talking about, just comment that below. It's not coming to my mind right now. I feel like I saw a contestant maybe in Binibining Pilipinas that wore something with like a ship detail or headpiece. Let me know if you know, but this one was well done. Belize, I just really liked that she had this jaguar coming out of the front of it, like the head of it, and then it extended around her, and then it's extended down the back of this train, and it was so neat. Loved it. Brazil's was so cool because it also had a reveal, but I just really appreciated the fins on the boots. They were so cool on this piece. So cool. Loved it. Cambodia, for me, this was a very traditional looking outfit, but the colors were so well done and coordinated, and the golds throughout, she just honestly looked beautiful. Thailand, just beautiful. And this is a national costume, honestly, in Thailand she could wear to an event, but it was just lovely to showcase on the international stage. She was stunning. France's outfit was dedicated to the storming of the Bastille, but what I also liked about this is to make it a little bit more national costume, we went with that style that really was more like the Moulin Rouge, and I thought that was kind of cool because it was this combination of French culture and history. Ukraine, I am just wondering how these wings were created because the mechanics of this, I feel like, were so impressive. Yes, we've seen wings before. Yes, we've seen moving pieces before. Of course, we've seen that. But the way that her wings came out reminded me of pieces that we've seen in movies. Like the way that they came out, like the wings of Maleficent, for example, that Angelina Jolie wore, that are obviously CGI, but this was in real life. That's what was so impressive about it. It was real. Oh my gosh. And then the wingspan, well done. Canada, this was a cool presentation. She wore some point shoes. She was up there doing some berets. I love that special little touch. Aruba was just fun. And I have to say that color, the use of bright colors or strategic colors are one strategy for standing out in national costume, and she really made use of that. And I like that she also danced with it. For me, I want to see that a contestant moves really well in her national costume, and I also really like to pay attention to the little touches she adds to the presentation of it. Nicaragua was representing the national flower, but the way that this was done, and there were lights in the costume, but the details of the beading. And every time I see this type of detail, I just think of all the hands that it took to create it. Colombia, oh my gosh, this bird, the wings and the way that they looked in person was blowing my mind when I was just thinking about how someone, actually I would assume several people, sat for hours and added every single stone to every single feather on that piece, and the way that the colors blended and how vibrant they were. Wow. The artistry here, honestly. Germany, when she walked out, for a second I was like, who is that? She is someone, and she had the cat, and I was a really big fan of Austin Powers growing up, and it just reminded me of Dr. Evil in the movie, and I was like, who is she here? And then they said Karl Lagerfeld, and I was like, oh my gosh, this was brilliant, and it was really well done, and the glasses, oh, Carl would be proud. Argentina, Argentina, we have to talk about it just because of the sheer size, okay? The size was amazing, but I do like how this was executed because it was signifying a waterfall. And I was like, oh my gosh, I do see that. It's kind of like when you look at Niagara Falls and you see all the white and all that like foam coming up out of the waterfalls. It was beautiful. Kosovo's was really cool because it came with this interesting lesson about the culture and the history of marriage traditions in Kosovo, and the presentation of it, and this whole, you know, the story behind this red veil. And I just love that she told this story and this history of this red veil and how she interpreted this. This was so cool. It really, really stood out. Mexico, she was a mariachi. How have we not seen this before? I love mariachis. I love when we have mariachis at family parties. I will say some of my cousins growing up, they actually sang in mariachi bands. So we had some growing up, but I love whenever we have mariachi. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, please check it out on YouTube, mariachi music. But watching it, I was like, wow, this was such an obvious national costume. Why have we never done this? Panama was so impressive. The detail in this national costume, I would honestly love to know, and I wish that they shared more either on social media or that the Miss Universe organization shared more about these things. If we could just know, how many people did it take to construct this piece? Who put this together? How many hours did this take? Because it looks like a lot. The bodice of Ghana's national costume, to me, it just looked like a replica of an artifact. Like, this looked like something that we would see in a museum, and I just thought that that was so beautiful. It looked real. It looked like the bodice was formed out of gold, and I loved it. Russia. This national costume, I really loved. It was not only beautiful, just stunning, but she collaborated with the museum to create this piece. And this piece was about royalty in Russia. And I love that attention to detail, that she went the extra mile to collaborate with the museum to really capture the time period that this piece was created after. Myanmar, this was so cool. She was literally a lily field. She laid her costume on the ground, sat on this fabric, and was literally in a lily field. And that was so cool. And she also did something else with this string, and I wasn't sure of the significance of that. I thought that they were going to mention that during, but I just thought that presentation was really unique. Trinidad and Tobago, she got some ahs and wows when she walked out because of the sheer size of this. Also, I really liked Nick's rhyme. I appreciated it. The thing he said about her nation and celebration, he said some rhyme like that, and I loved it. It was great. Presentation, she really, really made me smile, honestly, when she walked out in this. Guatemala, she got all eyes on her, okay, and here's another strategy. You can really stand out with sheer size of a national costume. This is use of that, but not only was this huge and massive, I don't know how they assembled this and how this all happened, but great job for her team. But the cool thing was that when she came out, it wasn't just the front that was impressive, she rotated it. That was another part of this presentation, and then the way that she stepped out of it and how she moved. It was everything. Bolivia, what did it for everyone in the audience was the reveal. She opened that up and we had all this beautiful draped gold beading. I don't want to think about how long that took to create, but it was a masterpiece. Netherlands, if there was an award for a cute national costume, it's gotta go to her. Okay, this was just too cute that she was this waffle cookie from the Netherlands, and now I need to go to the Netherlands to go and eat that waffle cookie. I'm still literally thinking about it and how cute this was. Puerto Rico, she made the crowd gasp again. All right, first of all, she walks out and we were like, okay, cool. Your costume's really awesome. I'm sure that those pieces were custom molded or 3D printed or something, and it signifies, space and NASA. Wonderful, okay? She has the personal connection. But when she turned around, I have never seen an LED screen like that on a costume. I feel like she may be setting a trend here. But what was special is that she had all of these Puerto Rican public figures, and she had queens as well. And I was just like, that was That was a special touch. That was unforgettable. USA, this, oh my gosh. So obviously we see a lot of red, white, and blue for USA, and we saw that here, but she walked out with an American flag. It was signifying women going to space, and she carried the moon on her back. Oh my gosh. One thing about this, so I will say, for moving on in the future, is that, and this is a note for everybody, ladies, just make sure you can walk in your national costume. I know that that wasn't possible for her because the costume was made in another country and she got it basically the day she was leaving, so there was no time for this. But I wish she would have been able to move a little easier in this national costume. And I feel like one thing that could have helped is maybe just wearing a different pair of boots, different pair of shoes. There was so much already going on. I feel like if she did a different boot or shoe, it wouldn't have taken away from the costume. And so I just wanted to see her move a little easier. And then also, just because I want to be over the top, light that moon up. Can we put some lights in that moon? Is that too much to ask for? Probably. It probably is. But you know what? I'd love to see it. Those were the ladies that really stood out to me for national costume. I love, love, love that they do a national costume. I just think it's such a cool way to learn more about each contestant's culture, or maybe things that are significant to her. Maybe we just learn more about her from these costumes. So it was really special. I enjoyed it, and I cannot wait for the final show. So if you can't wait either and you want to see even more Miss Universe content, check out these other episodes up here. But aside from that, thank you for watching this one, and I hope to see you very soon.